Alright guys, welcome back to another video here. This is Zia, ZYUH, artist, musician, and wannabe actor. We're coming back after a long period of not doing videos for a pretty long time. I want to say about the last time I uploaded a video was maybe in February or March. I'm just going to quickly look that up actually while I talk to you guys and let you know what is happening in my life. Obviously, this is a new area, a new place where I'm recording. Let's see here. So I'm going to be doing my videos here in this corner. I just moved into a new place, so you'll be expecting a new video every week, preferably on Monday. So Monday seems to be open for me, so I'm going to be doing that pretty routinely. Let's see here. The last video I uploaded was 4 months ago, so that must have been around, if I'm doing this correctly, maybe May or June. If we're in October, trying to do the months backwards from four months ago. If we're in October, would be September, August, July, no, June. So June, I did an episode on the Eucharist, because I had just watched a film on the Eucharist, and then I watched and researched a little bit on my own after I watched the film. This YouTuber called Christopher West was explaining it, and so I did my take on it. But we're gonna be getting back into the philosophy videos. This is episode 5. Episode 5, how to set your goals and achieve them. Sorry, my cat's on my paper. So I did an update video about a month ago. I recorded it in my backyard. I haven't uploaded it yet, but I'm gonna upload it this week. It's just like an update. I think, if I recall correctly, it's somewhat of an update and some advice on just if I remember correctly, kind of just getting your ass in gear, basically just putting on those batteries. If you know you're kind of just lagging behind and you don't want to be, some ways of just to kind of like kick yourself in the butt and just like get the train moving, you know, because a lot of times we can just be sitting there just thinking about things, wanting things, having a desire for them, wishful thinking, but we're not actually doing anything about it, so we're kind of just stuck in place. So I'm kind of just going off the top of my head here. I don't have a script. This is just on the whim. You know, it's after 9, it's closer to 11. I was hoping to do this a little earlier in the evening, but like I said, I just moved into a new place, so I've been kind of just organizing things. So this is episode 5. We did episode 1, 10 Important Insights for Happiness by Marcus Aurelius. Episode 2, Seeking the Praise, or to Stop Seeking the Praise of Other People. I'm sorry. That's part 2 of episode 1. Episode 2 was the 86,400 seconds that you get daily, and we transfer that to if you had $86,400 a day. It essentially works the same way, you know, because money and time is it's not recycled. Once you spend that money, it's not coming back, and once you spend that time, it's not coming back. So that's kind of what we were getting at, is that every day you get 86,400 seconds, and it really just depends on what you do with that, because it's not like you can save that time and just use it tomorrow, right? The money you spend, it's good and gone. But let's say you spend maybe half of that, the next day it doesn't get recycled. It's not like you can save that money. No. you start up at again $86,400, 86,400 seconds a day. And again, it just depends on what you do with that time that allows you to excel or fall behind. And then I'm just doing a review of the playlist right here. We jumped from episode 2 to episode 7 because I felt like talking about symbols and meaning, specifically symbols coming out of the Bible. We talked about, we talked about water, we talked about oil, we talked about, I have it here in my notes and I'm trying to remember, but I can't remember the specific details on the symbols, but essentially we were talking about when it comes to talking about God, when it comes to talking about the Holy Spirit, or when it comes to talking about guidance. One of the symbols was wind, and it's just the way, when I say God, I mean the Christian God. It's just the Abrahamic God. The way he communicates to us metaphorically through symbolism, and how we can go about, realizing that on a day-to-day basis. From episode 7, we went to episode 3. Episode 1 being 3 videos, where I talked about part 1, then I talked about part 2, and then the last video was part 3 to 10, because those were the 10 important insights that were given to us from Marcus Aurelius. So from there we went to episode 3, and that video was on 5 kinds of people that will make you rich and successful. If I remember, talked about the mark. We talked about the mentor, the mentee, the mark, somebody else. I think it was like your partnership, or like your co-partner, or your PIC, basically your partner in crime, somebody who you can trust. And essentially, these are the types of people that you want in your life when you want to achieve something, whether that's financial status or like-minded people. When it comes to a gathering of people, you want to surround yourself with people who have already been there, who have done it, so your mentors, and you want to stay in that circle of friends, stay in that circle of that community that allows you to flourish. It lets you expand. It lets you take risks without judgment, because they've all experienced failure, and they're right there by your side to give you advice. From there, we went to episode 4, 5 productivity lessons from Warren Buffett, and then the last video I did 4 months ago was the Eucharist. That's episode 8. So now we're jumping into episode 5. So the episodes are kind of jumbled here. I'm trying to get them in order, but that's just how my brain works. It's kind of like whatever I'm feeling at the moment. So I have my notes here. We're going to go through it. Episode 5. Now this is how to set goals. And how to achieve them after setting those goals. So we all want to be, better than we were, the night before. At least I hope we're there. We want to ask ourselves, how can I personally, without comparison, without saying, oh, I want to get here because this person's here, or I want to get here because that person's there, and I want to be better than them. No, we're talking about this like introspective. We're talking about inside. We're talking about just our inner ability of recognizing our own successes, our own failures, our own abilities, our own talents. So we want to be able to really have like an inner monologue, essentially, and continue having a conversation with ourselves when it comes to our ability and inability to make change happen, and essentially comes down to how we react to certain things. And are we reacting because it's out of enviness? Are we reacting because we're jealous? Are we reacting because um, we are judging them, or are we comparing ourselves, or are we reacting solely on things that we should be reacting to, um, truthfully and honestly, and in hopes that we could maybe make the world a better place? Um, so I believe that that is the only time when we should be reacting to something, in some sort of a passionate and emotional state, is that, well, what do you have to offer? Are you just reacting just because it's out of an emotional state and you're just angry about the situation? If that happens to be the case, then you better have a solution. You better have something in the back of the trunk, so to speak. You better have something there and ready, because you don't go to your parents, you don't go to your teachers, you don't go to your advisors or counselors, um, complaining about your life without you maybe possibly have juggled a solution of some kind, or say, you know what, this is happening in my life, but this is what I'm trying to do about it. And you're not just there to pout and whine about your situation. But we're not all there. Some of us are just in that state of, course in life, and we're just constantly complaining about our lives in hopes that somebody will fix it for us. So we want to get out of that. We want to be able to fix our own problems. And we want to be able to recognize, again, our ability and inability to succeed or to fail. And it's in that recognition that we're able to, again, excel, or maybe choose a different path, maybe choose something else in life that will allow us to flourish and grow. And sometimes it's a good thing to have, like they say, what's your plan B? If this isn't working right now, and if it doesn't seem to be working, and it's been a few years, and you've just been putting your 100% effort, you've invested in this idea, you've invested in this, you've sacrificed certain things, and it's just not coming out to how you want it to be, then put it in the back burner for a little bit, try something new, because sometimes it'll arise when you least expect it. So don't necessarily, put out the flame, but keep it simmering, is what I'm saying. Just keep it kind of boiling, because you never know when you're going to have to pull out the big guns and say, you know what, I haven't been practicing so much with this, or I haven't been putting in as much energy as I should have, but you know what, this opportunity is coming around the corner, and I just have enough, oil in my lamp, so to speak, that allows me to, reignite the fire and say, you know what, I'm gonna try again, So don't cut it out indefinitely. Can like when we're gonna be talking about goals here, we don't want to just concentrate on one thing at a time in life, because you'll get nowhere in life that way. If you're just doing one thing, you want to have like an outlook in life where you have, sure, different skills and talents that you can offer, but you're also working on certain aspects in life where you want to just basically grow. Do you want to be a better speaker? Do you want to have more confidence? Do you want to have less anxiety? Do you want to be less judgmental? Do you want to be more confident in your walk? Do you want to have the ability to maintain eye contact when you're talking to somebody? Just whatever it may be, you want to tell yourself, well, how am I going to be better this week than I was last week? And don't just concentrate on one thing. Keep those doors open and keep an open mind, and know that other people are working on things too, and not to put them in a corner and make them feel inadequate because they're trying. It's a mirror image here. We're all trying in life. We're all trying to excel in something, and the best that what we can do is support them in that. As long as they're not hurting themselves, most importantly, but also not hurting anybody else around them. It being physical, emotional, any cognitive way, um, what's it called? I'm blanking on the name. Kind of like in a psychosis type of way. When it comes to psychology, you're not psyching them out for your own benefit. You're like a manipulator, essentially. So we want to, again, be aware of who you're hanging out with, be aware of the people that you're, associating with, and make sure that you're putting yourself in a position where there are people who are, so to speak, better than you. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Let's say they're a better artist than you. Let's say they're a better musician. Let's say they're a better construction worker, whatever it may be, a better, better cook, a better football player, whatever it is. Put yourself in that circle of friends and say, you know what, this is my mentor, I'm the mentee, this is my mark, and this is how we're going to hit that mark. So if we get into this study here, for example, if you have a goal of wanting to fix a relationship, right? What are the necessary steps to do that? What's working and what's not working? And what can you work on as opposed to what can you kind of just, you know what, we're focusing too much on this. Let's back it up and focus on these aspects of our relationship that need help, that need, some kind of attention. And are we on the same page here? Because if they're on page 45, and you're still on page 2, then that's just not going to work. You both need to find, your place in the book and just come and so to speak, like come in the middle and make sure you guys are both acknowledgeable of each other's feelings. You guys are aware of each other's sensitivities and boundaries and expectations, and you want to be able to identify what is it about them that's making them tick, and it's not in a relationship. I don't think it's anybody's one's fault. I feel like both are at fault when something's not working. And so again, it's just being aware of where on that page do you lie, where is it in that situation, that you can become more aware of your actions and kind of just own up to it and approach it in a very humbling state, knowing that nobody's perfect. And if you guys are able to do that, you guys will be able to come to a commonality, a common sense, like-mindedness, and say, you know what, just go with more graceful act and say, you know what, this is what's happening. This is what I'm going to do about it. These are my solutions. Always come with a solution. Don't just complain about the situation. If you're going to complain about the situation, make sure you have an idea or a solution or some kind of something that'll solve the problem, so to speak, and expect that your partner should be doing the same too. And if they're not working as hard as you, if you feel like you know what, they're not putting any effort into this, then maybe it's time to let it go, or just try to give them some distance. Um, don't ignore them all the way. I'm not a marriage counselor. I'm not an expert in partnerships or relationships. They're extremely difficult. They're extremely hard, and every relationship has its own dynamics and its own communication style, and how and when they choose to receive love, and why they reach why, or what are their whys in a relationship? Why are you doing this? And when should you do it? So what I'm trying to say is that when you're in a relationship and you're trying to fix it, you want to be able to have good communication. Good communication, honest communication. Don't be afraid to say what you need to say. Don't hold things against them. And definitely, this is like one of the most important things I feel in a relationship. If you got something to say, just say it. Don't wait till next week. Don't wait till next month, because they're gonna come back to you and say, you know what, I've been doing this for so long, and finally you tell me that it's bothering you. It's just not okay. You know, don't play yourself for a fool. Don't waste their time. Don't waste your time. Time is not given to us um, in that way where it's like indispensable, where you just have so much of it. our time is valuable. It's not it's not forever. Our time is not forever, and we need to be able to say what we need to say when it needs to be said. So just going down, because I could just keep on talking and talking and talking. So another example is like fixing your finances. What is it about your life that you want to be able to fix in order to fix yourself, basically fix yourself up financially and to just better your situation? Is it your job? Is it your time? Are you sacrificing too much time? Um, so you can have more me time basically, or should you sacrifice your me time for somebody else and be working for them so you can up your game when it comes to finances? you know um, we need to be aware on where we're putting our energy. Is it ourselves, or are we providing some kind of service to others? Because when you put yourself in a community, right, if you put yourself out there in the community and you provide a service of some kind, you start making connections. And when you start making connections, you start, networking. And when you start networking, money is usually around the corner because people like to give money to people who do services for them. So if you are wondering, why am I not making enough money? Where are you communicating? Where are you in your, community? Are you well known? Can people approach you? Do people trust you? Are people able to offer you work because they know you have certain skills and certain talents? Or are you just, kind of just roaming around? Because nothing's going to come your way if you're just kind of just bouncing around and roaming around, not really communicating with anybody. You want to be able to showcase your talents and your skills so that way people can come to you and offer you work. And when work is offered, again, money is usually around the corner, and that's usually a way that you can pump up your finances. Because a lot of people think it's like, well, I need to work a 9 to 5 job, or I need to have 3 or 4 jobs. It's like, okay, sure, you can have 3 or 4 jobs, but are you making enough money in those jobs to where you're, okay with how things are coming in? Or do you feel like you can be making more money elsewhere? And if that's the case, make that a reality. Are you able to do some kind of workmanship when it comes to like construction, or when it comes to woodwork, steel work, um, gardening? You have a green thumb. Are you an artist? Are you a musician? Are you good with pets? Are you good with cleaning? There's all sorts of ways to make money, and these are called odd jobs. These are things that you can be doing on the weekend that can make you more money and could just help you out at the end of the week. So this is what I'm talking about, is about setting up goals, right? We want to be able to have like a visual board in our house or wherever you're staying at, and you want to be able to visualize that every single day and say, you know what, this is what I'm working on this week or this month, and this is where I want to be by the middle of the year, And if I'm not there, how can I get there? Not faster, but in a way where it's achievable, So if I'm just reading along here, it says another thing, if you have a goal where it says getting in shape, right? You want to start exercising. Again, what can you do to make that a reality? Well, first of all, you can maybe stop complaining about your life and saying how you want to go to the gym and actually sign up for a gym. And once you sign up for a gym, you're basically halfway there. All you have to do is just lay out your clothes, for the next day, or even put your clothes in your car so that way they're in your car already. So when you leave the house, when you leave and your clothes are in your car, after work, hit the gym. Hit the gym after work. I know a lot of people's lives are difficult, or their timing is difficult, or they have responsibilities after work. But look for a time in the day, whether that's before work or after work. Essentially, those are the best times to hit the gym, is before work and after work. Before work, because it allows you to kind of just get up earlier, maybe, if you can manage that, and you do your workout, and then you don't even have to think about it the rest of the day because you've already done it in the morning. But if you work out like how I do it, I work, from 8 to 3, and then I hit the gym from 3 to 5. And for me, that's perfect because I don't have kids to pick up at school. I don't really have many, responsibilities after work. until the evening time when it comes to lecture, when it comes to homework, things like that. So I have a little window from 3 to 5 in order to bust out some running, lifting some weights, go swimming, you know, um, whatever it may be, doing yoga. Um, but those 2 hours are key for me every single day, Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 because I don't have responsibilities until the evening. And again, you got to look for that time, whether that's before work or after work. If it's midnight, do it at midnight, because everybody's schedule is so different. So if we're just going, moving along here, so we get stuck with how we're not supposed to be, right? And what we're not supposed to do, right? We stay irritated and pissed off and get stuck in our habits, right? So this is what this is saying is that we know where we want to be, we know where we want to go, but we also know how it's, why it's not working, basically. Because of our bad habits. It's like I want to hit the gym, but I don't hit the gym because I like eating a lot. I want to hit the gym, but I know I don't because I just drive home after work, and I pick up some food and I just go home. And I know I'm not supposed to do that. I'm supposed to be hitting the gym, you know. Um, I want to fix my relationship, but I choose not to bring it up sometimes. I choose not to because I'm scared of what the partner might say. So we know what we're supposed to do, but we also know why it's not working out in the end. So we want to be able to know ourselves, be honest with ourselves, be honest with what we want and our intentions, our desires, and let our passions and our needs basically met, right? We want to be able to meet those demands somehow. And the only way to do that is by truly knowing yourself and by turning everything off if so be it, have a couple of days where you're just walking through the park and you're kind of just looking inwardly and saying, this is how my life is going and I'm not completely okay with it. Well, then fix it. Fix your life, Put yourself in a position where things are different. Wake up earlier. Start communicating with people. Put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Put yourself in a position where it's not the norm for you, where it's not your bad habit. Resist that temptation. Resist the food. Resist the, whatever it may be that's holding you back. Put yourself in a position where it's like, I'm uncomfortable. This is not normal for me. But it's also a good thing, I'm not used to waking up at 4 a.m. I'm used to waking up at 7 a.m. I'm used to staying up so late. I'm not used to going to bed by 10:30 every night or by 11 o'clock. I'm not used to going to bed before midnight. But you have to. You know what you need to do. So just do it. The first day is going to feel weird. The next week it's going to feel weird. And it's probably going to stay weird and feel weird for the next 2 weeks to a month. But all of a sudden you're going to start realizing the benefits of it all. And then once you start seeing the results, that'll motivate you, hopefully, to keep on going and possibly try even more new things. So once you know yourself, once you know what you need to do, write it down and set out your goals. Write down what you need to do. Write down whatever it may be, in all sorts of areas of your life, Is it a new job that you want? You want to try something new in your career? Do you want to start making more friends? Do you want to become more social? Do you want to be a better musician? Do you want to be a better artist? Do you want to start reading more? Do you want to be friendlier to the animals that you interact with? This is just off the top of my head. What is it about your life that's not letting that happen, right? What is it about your life that's not allowing that to happen? Who do you need to cut off? What do you need to cut off? When do you need to cut it off? And why do you need to cut it off? Ask yourself all these questions and let your brain really work out its own responses. Let it analyze these things. Let it put it in some kind of organization so it's not so scattered brain, whether that's writing it out, saying it out loud. Really run through this routine in your head and say, you know what? I'm going to do this after work. I'm going to do this after work. Say it out loud. tell yourself that. We all of us have like three, inner monologues within ourselves. We have ourselves talking out loud to ourselves, who's responding to that person who's talking out loud. And then we also have that other voice in our head where it's not necessarily our voice, but I call it the Holy Spirit. I call it the consciousness. Some people can call it Jiminy Cricket. We have this good conscience in our head that says, this is not okay for you, right? But you're going against it, right? So there's you yourself talking out loud. There's that inner monologue, your own thoughts. So you can have your own conversation going back and forth there. And then you throw in the Holy Spirit, you throw in Jiminy Cricket in there, you throw in this third monologue in there, kind of in the middle of those and saying, well, this is what the person wants to do on the outside, and this is what the person wants to do on the inside, and this is the one that's saying whether it's good or bad. And you want to really recycle through those, that mainframe basically, and allow yourself to go in circles in a trifecta and really juggle these ideas really. And sooner or later, you're going to start saying things like that match the Holy Spirit, right? Because I've had that experience before where I know it's not necessarily coming from outside of my mouth. And it's sure as hell not coming from the other person, which is our alter ego, I like to call it, the one that's incompatible to us. It's coming straight from the Holy Spirit. And I go, you know what? This is the alignment that I want. I want to be able to just speak the truth. I want to be able to just say what's truly in my heart every single damn time. And it's not easy because sometimes, again, we're envious, we're jealous, we're judgmental, we're prideful, we have a big ego, we tell ourselves that we're better than them, and we sometimes that even comes out of our mouth, right? And it really, really turns us into somebody that we're not. And we know that's not us, but somehow it's even more powerful than than how you truly, truly feel because that light has been almost diminished. You've almost put out that light, essentially. So you want that fiery Holy Spirit voice in your head, that consciousness within your soul to really just burn through and through day and night, all the time, 24/7, 365. So allow yourself to really know yourself. And once you know yourself, start writing out those goals. And how do we write out those goals? Well, we want to create short-term goals. And once we've created these short-term goals, we can really, really channel the idea of making small steps. I read this book, and I don't know if it was called Poco a Poco, but there was a line in it. I think it wasn't called Poco a Poco, but Poco a Poco means, little by little in Spanish. And if you concentrate on little things like that, taking one step at a time, sooner or later, by 6 months to a year, you're going to see some big progression. You're going to see some big change happening in your life. And it's not going to be overnight. That's why they say it's not overnight. Success is not overnight. Sometimes success stumbles upon you and you don't even realize it because you're just naturally flowing into that state of, embracing of the success that you're actually in. And it's going to pass through you and it's going to end basically, and you're going to miss it. But at the same time, you should be working on something else so that way you can recycle that feeling, you can recycle that notion, that state of mind, that state of being in all sorts of different directions in your life, in all different categories when it comes to family, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to your work, when it comes to emotional status, emotional state, when it comes to your ability to become more sensitive to your surroundings, when it comes to taking care of Mother Nature, when it comes to taking care of other people, having a relationship with a higher being, a higher spiritual being, whatever it may be, you always want to be concentrating on all of these things simultaneously all the time. And it's not easy. But if we allow ourselves to have an open mind and an open heart, we're able to pass through these barriers or these boundaries that are set up before us that we ourselves have created. And we break down these barriers in a way where we allow ourselves to become stronger in the end because we become more of a formidable foe in a sense, and we take up certain aspects in our life, certain courageous moments in our life, and we kind of just stack them upon our shoulders and say, you know what, I've been here before. This is not going to be that hard to take down. I know what to do here. I'm not that scared anymore. I can say what I can say, and I can say it damn well. And I can put myself in a position where I am uncomfortable, but that's life, and I thrive in being uncomfortable because that is where change happens and that is where growth happens. So once we have created these short-term goals and whatever it may be, whatever goal you're trying to, attend to or pay attention to, you want to be consistent with it. I like to say just being consistent as opposed to being motivated, because we don't wake up every day feeling 100%, ready to tackle this goal. But if we're consistent with it, if we put ourselves in a position where it's like, okay, I want to hit the gym, for example, I want to hit the gym, 3 to 5 times a week, counting Saturday and Sunday. But this week I was only able to hit it 2 times. That's fine. That is totally cool. You know why? Because next week you're going to hit it at least 2 more times, Even if it's just 1, you are consistent. You are consistent in going to the gym every single time, every single week. You haven't hit the 3 days, you haven't hit 5 days, which is your goal, but you have not given up. You put a little bit of effort in there, poco a poco, right? You put in just enough effort to say, you know what? I hit the gym at least once. And even if it's you putting in that gym bag in your car, that's a step too. That is a step too. You don't have to go to the gym, actually walk into the gym. You want to get there, right? You want to get there, but it's going to take time. The first, whatever, we can even go farther back than that. I bought gym clothes, right? I signed up for a gym. I'm thinking about going to the gym. I want to go to the gym. Oh, there are gyms around me. I wonder what that's going to be like if I ever want to go. Oh, people go to the gym? I wonder how that works out for them. See how we're going farther and farther and farther and back. Just one step closer to actually going to the gym. And then sooner or later, you're going to be hitting the gym at least 3 times a week. And you're going to be saying, I don't know how I got here, but it took some time, but I'm finally here. Then you go 4 times a week. Then you go 5 times a week. And then you start becoming the mentor. Now you have, the ability to give advice to other people who say, you know what, I want to go to the gym, but I'm not sure. And here you are going 5 times a week. And you can tell that person what your struggle was, how hard it was, and it's really just step by step is what we're trying to say here. And so lastly, I want to ask is what your goals are. What are the goals that you want to do in your life that will make you be the person that you want to be? And so there's a way to do this, This is an example of doing it, and it's creating that circle of, I hold it closer to the camera here. Basically, I have different areas. You have your health, your family, your career, travel, relationship. I think that says contribution. Yeah, what you're contributing in life, and your social and fun, and I think we said wealth. So again, this is just an example, and this is mine. This is what I chose to put in. I put that, in my health, out of 100, it's about 60%. If we go downward, family, 80%. I have a pretty good family. My career, so I wrote this maybe a couple years ago. I can maybe say that it was 20. I can say maybe it's about 60% now. And so this is just travel, 0%. I never go anywhere. Relationship, I put 20% because I'm trying to work on my relationships. I don't really contribute much. As you can tell, it's 0%. Social and fun, I put 50%. And my wealth, I put I put, I don't know if that's a 3 or an 8, but again, my wealth wasn't, very, very good, I guess. Um, you can do it in the whole pie and divide each, little would be like pizza slice out of 100, or you can do the whole thing and say, what, there's 20% here, 40% here, there's 15% here. I did it out of like that pie slice was 100%, and out of 100%, where do I fall in line? For me, it was just easier to visualize it that way. But I encourage you to make your own and put different aspects in your life. Again, like relationship, finances, your career, your social, your fun, your wealth, your traveling. Where is it in your life do you want to see some growth in? So that's knowing yourself. That's asking yourself really honestly, how are the relationships in your life going, kind of thing. How is that career going? How is your wealth going? How is your social and fun? Can you back it up a bit so you can invest more time in your career? How are you going to do that? How is that going to look? Um, so when you set your goals, you want to write them down. Obviously, you want to write down these goals, and you want to refer back to the list weekly, if not every 2 weeks, and say, you know what? I think I'm pretty good in this department. I think it's time to cross that off. Let's move on to something else. And again, you want to be creating these short-term goals within that larger goal. You have this goal of what you want to do. You want to go to the gym. How are you going to make that a reality? What are the short-term goals to get to there? Do you need to buy shoes? Do you need to buy a gym membership? Do you need to maybe at least just start working out at home to maybe motivate you? What is it that you need to do to make that a reality? So then, because I don't want to talk too much, I feel like yeah, this is almost an hour. Excuse me. This is called the Eisenhower matrix here. And I'll show you how it works here. At the top would be the top left side. If we go over here, actually, let's go over here. I don't know if you can really see that. I think it's easier if I hold it this way. There we go. So you have from vertical, it says how important the goal is, and then from the horizontal line is how urgent the goal is. So let's say you want to put a goal somewhere in the top corner here. So it's very, very important, and but it's not very urgent, right? So we put it's an important goal, but it's not urgent. So maybe we can calendar it. Maybe we can put it in our planner or just save it for another day. If we just move to the side there, we can see that we have a goal that's very important and very urgent. So we should put that as priority number 1. That is a goal that we want to work on today. We want to see some kind of growth. We want to see some kind of change today, if not tomorrow, hopefully by the 3rd day. Then if we go on the bottom lines there, we see that we have a goal that's not very important, and you know what, it's just not very urgent either. So we're just going to avoid it so we can save some time. It's just, it's something that we want to do, but it's just not important and it's just not urgent right now. So we're just not going to really put too much focus onto it. And if we go to the side there, we have a goal that's not very important, but it is urgent. It's something that we need to do, but it's just not important. So maybe we can delegate it. Maybe we can just hold off on that. Just like it's important, but it's not very urgent. And it's urgent, but it's not very important. So if it's more urgent than important, then we know it needs to be done, but maybe we can do it in 3 days. But if it's important and not urgent, then maybe we can do it by next week. So hopefully that Eisenhower matrix helps some of you guys identify where exactly you can put these goals in and how you can see it in a more, visual manner. I know for me it helps because if I have something that I want to do, I put it in here. I put it in the box, and I say, where does it fall in my life? Where does it fall in my time frame? How can I make this a reality? Where can I put these goals? I have a date coming up. It's important to me, but it's not urgent, so I'm gonna calendar it. I have this meeting. But maybe we can postpone the meeting so it's not very urgent and it's not very important. So I'm just gonna maybe avoid it for now, kind of thing. And if it just so happens that we reschedule the meeting, we do that. So again, the most important step here, I think, is that we are consistent with our goals. We put the intention, we put the want, we put the desire. We create this certain type of passion within us to allow us to gravitate towards this, you know, this behemoth, if you will, that's kind of just like in our way, but we're facing the demon at the same time. We're facing the dragon. We're fighting it every week, even though we don't want to sometimes, but we're consistent with it. Maybe we're not motivated. Maybe we're getting our ass kicked, right? But we're still in the game. We're still in the fight, and we're still working on it because sooner or later we're going to be having more days that we're motivated, and we're going to laugh back at the days that we weren't motivated, and we're going to say, come on, let's pick up the pace. Let's put on those, batteries, and let's try to act the way that we should be acting. Because if you put minimal effort, you're going to get minimal results. You're going to put yourself in a position where you just become lazy. Lazy. Because lazy people know what they need to do, they just don't do it. Those are lazy people. Avoidant people who are avoidant, are people who deliberately choose to do other things knowing that they have. So I guess it's kind of falls in the same line as being lazy. They're avoidant and lazy. Ignorant people choose to ignore what they need to do. They choose to forget what they need to do. They put themselves in a position of just fun, feeding the ego, because that'll help them forget what they actually need to do. Let's say you have a court date, right? An ignorant person will choose to ignore that court date until they truly do forget about it, and they will have to suffer the consequences because of their choosing of having to live a certain lifestyle that allows them to really truly forget about these certain dates that are coming up, or certain events, or certain requirements or expectations of them. And so again, put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. Put yourself in a position where you have to think on your feet and be risky. Take risks and put yourself in a position where you say, gosh, I'm over 25 or I'm over 30. I don't have enough time in the day to be wasting it. My time is valuable, so don't waste my time. Be upfront with me, be honest, and be forward and be direct. And don't be mean, but just be real with people. Don't be coy. Don't be the nice guy or the nice girl. Don't be the people pleaser. Don't put yourself in a position where you have to answer to everything. Don't be an agreeable person. Put yourself in a position where you take charge because you know what you want in life. And if people get in your way, then so be it. Let them be in your way. Just don't be mean to them. Don't push them away. Just be there, stand there, make yourself known, be confident, be a statue, be silent, only speak when you really need to speak. Have a lot of thoughts in your head, but don't say things out loud. Make yourself like a stoic person to where you're kind of just you're taking up space because you damn well should be taking up space. You have every right to be taking up space. just like anybody else out there, just like anybody else talking their head off, anybody else who, making themselves, louder than you, or they're just more obnoxious than you. Let them take up that space. You don't need all that space. Take up enough space to where you're comfortable in it, and don't don't overstep anybody else's space at the same time. Know your surroundings, know your areas, know your people, know your communication style. Know that life is hard, but if you work on it every single day, if you have these short goals, you'll be able to work on them, and you will be busy. You will be busy, and you won't feel bored, and you won't take uh, other people's advice so lightly. You'll start leaning on your own advice. You'll start leaning on your own intuition and willpower. And that to me, I feel speaks more volume because it's only you have to attend to. It's only you who you have to react to. And it's only you who you have to have that inner monologue or complain to and say, you know what? That just didn't work, dude. We're going to try a different way. As opposed to saying, hey, you're the one who told me to do this and it just didn't work. So it's your damn fault I wasted 3 years of my life. Or it's your damn fault that I wasted, 6 months of my life. Or it's your own damn fault and you start pointing fingers and complaining. Again, don't complain unless you have a solution to back it up. Otherwise, don't complain at all. You have no right to complain. Because you're not providing a service, you're not providing any type of solution to it, So you're just, again, taking up space that you shouldn't be taking up. There's nothing wrong with complaining. There's absolutely nothing wrong with complaining. But when you complain and don't have, something to back it up, or if you say, you know what, this is what's happening in my life, but I really don't like it. But this is what I'm going to try to do to solve the problem, as opposed to saying, you know what, this isn't working for me. I need somebody to fix my problem for me. That's not how life works. You don't expect other people to fix your own problems. You don't expect somebody else to fix your own car, unless you're paying a mechanic. But what I'm saying is that you want to put yourself in a position where you have to be your own mechanic and you're fixing your own problems, because nobody else is going to want to, look under your own hood. You yourself can handle your own hood, unless that person really, really loves you, they have their own damn hood to look under. They all have their own problems that they need to attend to. They do not need to be fixing their own self and fixing you at the same time. So in a relationship, you really want to be able to know yourself, create those short-term goals, know what you want. And that's not just in like a romantic relationship. That's in all sorts of relationships, whether that's work, whether that's family, whether that's your neighbors, your friends. Have something, again, in the back burner. Have plan B. What is it in your life that you want to do? And if that doesn't work out, what's plan B? What else are we working on? And you want to be able to keep track of your efforts. And you're going to do this simultaneously while achieving them. And you're going to recognize the change and everything. But if you want to write it down, if you want to say this is where I started and this is how it's going, if that helps you, then do it. So a lot of people like journaling. A lot of people like writing out what they want to see, actually unfold. And for me, that helps because I journal. I want to journal more. And I'll get to it now that I'm having, more quiet space to myself. Instead of saying things like, this is where I was and this is how I am now, I just put down, this is how my life is going. And I'll read back to some previous journal entries and say, wow, I see some change. I see some growth. I see things are unfolding the way they are because of my choices, because of the way I react to certain things. And when I don't choose to do certain things, this is usually the outcome. And so, lastly, I want to ask you guys, are we succeeding or are we stuck in life? Okay, I'm going to repeat that. Are we succeeding in life or are we stuck? Now, both sides, you can be on either side every other week. But we want to be able to find a good medium because we're not always succeeding and we're not always stuck. And if we're on both, if we're on either end of the spectrum, it's not going to last for very long. Because sometimes when we're stuck, we're going to find success in other things, and sometimes when we're succeeding things, we're going to feel stuck in other things. So there's a fine, in the spectrum, you're going to be floating back and forth. But as long as we're recording these things, either mentally or physically, or verbally saying them out loud to our partners or relationships, our mentors, we'll be okay in the end, I think. And lastly is to give yourself credit. Give yourself credit and award yourself however you see fit, whatever it may be. If it's that extra shopping spree, if that's the another beer, whatever it may be, buying your cat, some new toys or whatever, buying yourself some new toys, whatever it may be, having that incentive goes a long way. Goes a long way. But don't spoil yourself. Don't put yourself in a position where it's like I work, just a little bit, but I expect so much. No, you got to balance it. Make sure you work hard. And if you work hard, that reward is going to feel so much better, especially if you wait long enough. If you wait long enough for that reward, it's going to feel really good. And so, again, put yourself in a comfortable positions, know yourself, set your goals, create those short-term goals, and be consistent and not motivated. And I will end it with here, which is giving credit to Philosophies for Life, the YouTube channel, which I get these philosophies from. They're not coming from me. They come from a YouTube channel called Philosophies for Life, and they're about these 10 to 15-minute videos where they go through all this information in their own way. So what I do is I just take notes on that philosophy. I soak it in, I try it out for a couple of months, and I give it to you guys. So I want to appreciate the people who jumped in on this video. And if you like this video, go ahead and just like it. Put a comment if you want to put a comment down. Start a Discord, start a conversation. I like to hear some of your goals and what is it in your life that you're trying to achieve. What is it that you're doing about it to make that happen? Are you seeing the results that you want to see, or are you stuck? Just be honest, have an honest conversation if you can amongst yourselves. If you so choose it, I will catch you guys next week for another video here. This is Zia, Z-Y-U-H, artist, musician, wannabe actor, and I will see you guys on the next video Monday, which would be episode 6. Here, let's see, that's going to be money can buy you happiness, but ... So we're going to be talking about how money can unfold and unlock a lot of potential in somebody's life, but it can also ... And I'll leave it with that, and I'll see you guys next week for next video, episode 6. Money can buy you happiness, but ...